01642 225511. On the text 81333, start your message with the word tease, and john.foster@bbc.co.uk. Now, for the RNLI in our region, this is one of the biggest fundraising events of the year. It's SOS Day, a series of fun events all supporting the lifeboats, the crews, and, of course, the behind-the-scenes volunteers that helps to save lives at sea. Now, we'll hear more about SOS Day and what's happening locally this morning, as well as we'll hear from some of the volunteers that generously give their time and also their effort. Let's see first what happens when somebody gets into trouble out on the water.
The North Sea in wintertime, and perhaps one of the most unforgiving places in the UK. And no more so for the people who live and work beside this stretch of water that runs right along the northeast coast, and in particular the volunteers of the RNLI lifeboat crew in Redcar. The Redcar lifeboat volunteers are on standby 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just ready to jump into action. That noise is the first indication that there's an emergency. Dave Cox has been paged and is one of a handful of people authorised to launch the rescue boats.
Hello, London Coast Guard.
Hello, it's Dave Cox from Redcar Lifeboat Station. You've paged us? OK, we'll do that. We'll launch both boats and make our way to Saltburn. Cheers now. Bye-bye.
This sound alerts the crew, who then dash to the lifeboat station as quickly but as safely as possible, and as Dave says, completely within the law. The first to arrive prepare the boat for launch. Helmsman Mark Reeves then chooses his crew carefully.
Coming in from walking in the boat, I was picking which crew, which are the right people for the right job, because obviously every job's different circumstances and they could crop up, so that's why, you've got to pick the right trained men, I suppose, for the job.
While the crew dress in their survival and personal safety kits, Dave Cox briefs them about the job in hand.
Right, guys, the job is, there's 2 adults, 2 children cut off by the tide at the point of Huncliffe, in fact a bit further around from the point of Huncliffe. So we want both boats to go, fetch them back. If you need an ambulance, give us a call and we'll call one for you on your way back.
Yeah, we'll do. No worries.
While the crew are getting ready with their kit to go out to sea, the rest of the crew that are here that aren't going to go to sea are getting the lifeboat ready to launch. They're taking the charging leads off it. They're getting the tractor ready to launch. And as soon as they're ready to go, the tractor engine will start. The beach master, as we call him, who controls the traffic lights outside so that we can get a clear run out from the station. He'll tell us that they're ready to go. We'll open the doors and the lifeboat will be pushed out, ready to launch.
Tractor, beach master, I'll read, over.
Beach master, tractor, loud and clear, loud and clear.
Typically, from the moment the crew get paged to the lifeboat hitting the water is about 8 minutes.
Now, this isn't a real job, but simply an exercise to hone the skills of the RNLI crew, who meet twice a week to train and also maintain the equipment.
You've got to get the guys used to what it will be like when there is a real call-out. Sometimes it literally is a matter of life and death. So what we do is we make sure that the guys are given all the skills, given all the equipment and all the experience and confidence to do whatever is asked of them out there.
Being part of this close-knit team is a demanding task that requires skill and the utmost professionalism and dedication.
I'm particularly proud of the crew members, the commitment that they show day in, day out. You imagine being dragged out of your own bed at 3 o'clock on a November morning when the wind's howling against the window and the rain's thrashing against the glass. Most people would just pull the duvet up. These guys come out and they'll go out there and save lives.
More on this later on. From BBC Tees on SOS Day for the RNLI and their big fundraiser. 26 minutes past 6 is the time. We've got top stories with Madeline Briggs. For the RNLI in our region, today is the biggest fundraising day of the year. Volunteers are going to be holding a series of events to raise vital funds for the charity. Dave Cox is second in command at the Redcar station. He says every penny counts.
The large all-weather lifeboats like you see at Hartlepool or further down the coast at Whitby, they cost of the order of £2 or £3 million. But it's not just the lifeboats. You've got to kit a crew member out. Each crew member gets about £1,200 worth of kit to keep him safe in the environment that he has to work in, which is very hostile. Then there's all the annual running costs. They've got to build lifeboat stations, because a lot of lifeboat stations now are 150, 200 years old. They're not fit for purpose for modern lifeboats.
Yes, the funding is vital, but the other vital ingredient, of course, is the volunteer. Our reporter Steve Mackey has been along to a training session to speak to some of the crew.
Twice a week, the volunteers at the RNLI station in Redcar meet to tackle training sessions, maintain the 2 launches and vital equipment, and also even giving the station a good old clean. Now, everyone here has another job, a variety of careers. Mark is one of the helmsmen and a training coordinator at the station.
I work for an industrial cleaning company. That's what I do during the day. Not very posh, but that's what I do during the day.
It's a bit of a change, isn't it, from doing industrial cleaning to going out there and saving lives. That's what it boils down to sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's what all the training and what we put in and effort. I used to do fishing as well, which I've always been connected with the sea, so I've always had it running through my blood, if you want to call that.
By day, crew member Paul's an ambulance man. He says at times the skills from his day job can come in handy.
The first aid training's really excellent for the crew. They've really streamlined the first aid training now for the lifeboats. So, I mean, with my day job, I suppose it gives me a little bit more confidence to take the lead in situations, but I'm quite confident that the lads know exactly what they're doing.
The call to emergency can come at any time, day or night. And crew member Greg, who also works for the National Grid, says once it goes off, it's all systems go.
The first thing is pager, turn it off, see what there is, straight in the car, down to the boathouse, park your car up, straight in the boathouse, come through the doors, straight into here, ask what the lads what's going on, if they've got crew, jump in the shore crew, get the boat ready for lads who are getting changed. You just take it from there.
Is it something that you get nervous about when you hear the bleeper going off and you know there's a job and you might have to go and rescue somebody from the sea?
No, not really. It's just more of something that I signed up to do kind of thing. I enjoy it. I've always, since I started, I enjoyed it.
The volunteers at the lifeboat station are a close-knit team, and Mark says each and everyone has a vital part to play.
From the young kids washing the boat down to getting the fuel to the tractor driver to, bloke who fills the buckets up when we come back to wash the boat down to making the cup of tea, when we've been on a call out to everything, to the man ordering the stores, making sure the kit's right so we can do our job, because it's all volunteers and training all comes in, it's all volunteer that we do.
Well, today's SOS Day, it's the biggest fundraising event of the year, and later in the programme we'll hear more from Dave Cox, the second in command at the RNLI lifeboat station in Redcar, about just how important today is.
SOS Day. Good luck to everybody raising money for the RNLI. It's Friday morning. It's the 28th of January. John Foster and the Breakfast Show between now and 9 o'clock today. Neil. All right, it's 4 minutes to 9. Throughout this morning, we've been looking at the work and the people who operate the RNLI station at Redcar. Now, the reason we've been taking a closer look today is because it's SOS Day. It's the biggest fundraising event for the charity. Dave Cox is second in command of the lifeboats at Redcar. He says, he explains what the day is all about.
Well, SOS is the RNLI's big single fundraising day. We're obviously working hard right throughout the year to raise funds, but what we do now towards the end of January each year is we have this big day called the SOS Day. And the idea is that it's a way of getting the whole country involved in one big fundraising effort to try and boost the coffers of the RNLI so that we can continue to do our work for the rest of the year. SOS originally stood for Save Our Souls, with a little play on the word souls, in as much as it was to do with shoes and trainers and that sort of thing. But now what we're trying to encourage groups, organisations, schools to do is to come up with something imaginative around the letters SOS. So it could be sing a song or sizzle our sausages, whatever you can make fit the SOS theme, and then go out and do a big fundraising effort for us. And what we hope to do is raise as much as we can in that single day, just to give the year a good kickstart.
Now, last year was the busiest on record for Dave and the volunteers down at Redcar, which puts a great strain on, obviously, the volunteers and the costs. So every penny raised really does count.
To run the whole of the RNLI, we're talking about something like £120 million each year. Now, that might seem like an awful lot of money, but lifeboats these days are very sophisticated. The large all-weather lifeboats like you see at Hartlepool or further down the coast at Whitby, they cost of the order of £2 or £3 million. But it's not just the lifeboats. You've got to kit a crew member out. Each crew member gets about £1,200 worth of kit to keep him safe in the environment that he has to work in, which is very hostile. Then there's all the annual running costs. They've got to build lifeboat stations, because a lot of lifeboat stations now are 150, 200 years old. They're not fit for purpose for modern lifeboats. So the RNLI has a huge expenditure each year just to keep the organisation running. And as I say, all of that comes from the fact that we're a charity. It's all donations, it's all legacies. And the RNLI belongs to the people of Britain, because they're the people that pay for it.
Now, local support obviously has been absolutely fantastic, especially from the Ladies Lifeboat Guild, who raise over £20,000 a year. And as we said, so every penny does count for those who've been saved. And Dave Cox says they can't put a cost on their lives.
We're here to save lives. Every day the RNLI save 21, 22 lives. That's a huge number of people if you add it up all through the year, but it's also a bigger number of people if you start to look at how many family and friends are affected by that person being saved, how many neighbours and colleagues are saved from the shock of losing somebody that they know. That we touch a lot of lives every day and every year.
So SOS Day, if you're doing your bit for the RNLI, I hope you raise loads and loads of money. It's their big fundraiser. More with Mike Hill, of course, from 4 o'clock this afternoon. Very quick.